The native doctor told Adama that she would need to urinate in every pot of food she cooked in her restaurant. It was the only way to seal the charm and ensure her success. Please like, subscribe and share this interesting videos. In a bustling town at the edge of the motor park, nestled between the constant hum of cars and the chatter of travelers, stood a small restaurant. Its owner, Adama, was a woman in her early 30s with a big heart and an even bigger dream. She had inherited the business from her late mother, who had once served the community with her famous spicy whole of rice and tasty fried plantains. But, in the years since her mother's death, Adama's restaurant struggled to keep afloat. Despite her best efforts, the business was crumbling. On good days, she barely made enough to cover her overheads. On bad days, she would sit quietly in the corner of the kitchen, watching as leftovers piled up. There was always food that didn't sell, but she couldn't bear to throw it away. Instead, she would warm it up the next day, hoping someone would come by and buy it. But the days blurred into weeks, and the customers still didn't come. Adama's despair grew, and with every passing day, it felt like the walls of her restaurant were closing in. She had tried everything: new recipes, discounts, even advertising on social media. Yet, nothing seemed to work. Her debts were piling up, and the idea of closing the restaurant was starting to seem like the only option left. It was at her lowest point that she ran into Tina, a fellow food seller who operated a small stand at another nearby motor park. Tina had been one of Adama's close friends for years, always offering support and encouragement when times were tough. But recently, Tina's business had flourished. Her food stall had become one of the most popular spots in the area, drawing crowds every day. Adama couldn't help but wonder how Tina had managed to turn her business around. One evening, after another slow day of sales, Adama decided to pay Tina a visit. She needed answers. Tina welcomed her into her home with a warm smile and made her a cup of tea. As they sat in the small living room, Adama couldn't hold back any longer. "Tina," she said, "I'm struggling. I've tried everything, but my business is going down. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm desperate. You've always been successful. What's your secret?" Tina paused for a moment, and then her face softened. She seemed to consider something carefully before speaking. "I've been where you are, Adama," she said quietly. "When I first started, things were just as tough. But everything changed when I met someone, a native doctor." Adama's eyebrows raised in surprise. Tina had always been practical, and this was the last thing she'd expected to hear. "A native doctor," Adama repeated, incredulity in her voice. "What do you mean?" Tina sighed, and for the first time, Adama saw a hint of vulnerability in her friend's eyes. "I know it sounds strange," Tina admitted, "but when I reached the point where I felt like I had nothing left to lose, I was introduced to a man who could help. He's a powerful native doctor who has helped many people in our community. He told me that my business struggles were a result of spiritual blockages. He offered me a way to break free from those barriers." Adama listened intently as Tina continued. "He gave me a charm, some herbs, and a specific ritual to follow. It worked. My business took off, and it's been thriving ever since. But there's a price, Adama. The price of success isn't always easy to pay." Adama was torn. Part of her was skeptical, but another part was desperate enough to consider any option. After all, she had nothing to lose. "I can take you to him," Tina offered, sensing her friend's hesitation. "But you must be ready. It's not an easy path." The next morning, after a sleepless night filled with doubt and fear, Adama made up her mind. She would go with Tina. She would do whatever it took to save her restaurant, even if it meant walking down an uncertain and dangerous path. The journey to the native doctor's shrine took several hours by bus, and as they neared their destination, Adama felt a sense of unease settle over her. The village was far from the main road, deep in the forest, and the air seemed heavy with ancient energy. The native doctor's shrine was hidden away at the base of a large tree, surrounded by various totems and symbols Adama didn't fully understand. Without a word, the native doctor greeted them. His deep-set eyes seemed to look right through them, as if he knew exactly why they had come. There was an unsettling calm about him. "You've come for help," he said in a voice that was both soft and commanding. "I know why you are here." Adama and Tina exchanged a glance, surprised that the man had spoken without them saying a word. "Yes," Tina said, stepping forward. "She needs help with her business." The native doctor motioned for them to sit. He then began explaining the rituals they needed to perform. For the first step, Adama had to make sacrifices, a live snake and an egg, both of which had to be offered at the shrine with prayers to invoke prosperity. The second part of the ritual was even stranger. The doctor told Adama that she would need to urinate in every pot of food she cooked in her restaurant. It was the only way to seal the charm and ensure her success. Adama's stomach churned at the thought, but she was desperate. Her mind raced with questions, but she swallowed them down. This was the price of success, and she was willing to pay it. The next day, she returned to her restaurant and began following the doctor's instructions. She made the sacrifices and then, with reluctance, started performing the strange ritual of urinating in her food. The thought of it made her sick, but she did it because she needed to see her business thrive. To her astonishment, within just a few days, customers began to pour in. Business was booming. The restaurant was filled with people every day, and Adama could hardly keep up with the demand. The money started coming in, and for the first time in months, she felt a sense of hope. However, things took a dark turn after about a week. Jacob, one of her regular customers, had noticed something strange. He usually came by every morning to enjoy his favorite meal at Adama's place, but on one occasion, he arrived early to find the restaurant empty. When he peered through the window, he was shocked by what he saw, a jar of urine next to the cooking pots. Jacob's eyes widened in disbelief. He had heard rumors about strange practices in the area, but he never thought Adama would be involved in something like that. The next day, he gathered a group of concerned locals and went to the restaurant to confront Adama. When Adama arrived at her restaurant that afternoon, she was met with a group of angry motor park touts and a pair of police officers. Jacob was there, pointing a finger at her, accusing her of witchcraft and foul play. Adama's heart sank as the reality of her situation dawned on her. She had thought she could keep her secret hidden, but now it was out. The police arrested her on charges of practicing witchcraft and using harmful substances in her food. The motor park touts, who had once been her loyal customers, began tearing down her restaurant's canopy in protest. Tina, her friend, was arrested alongside her. The two of them were taken away in separate police vans, their faces filled with regret and sorrow. In the cold silence of her cell, Adama reflected on the choices she had made. The price of success had been too high. She had sacrificed her integrity, her reputation, and her own sense of self for a fleeting taste of prosperity. She had trusted in dark forces to solve her problems, and now she was paying the price. As the days passed and the trial drew nearer, Adama felt the weight of her actions bearing down on her. She wished she could go back and make a different choice, but it was too late. She had learned the hard way that success gained through dishonest means was never. Moral lesson 1. Honesty is the best policy. Adama's desperation led her to seek help from a native doctor, who demanded that she perform a disgusting ritual. This ultimately led to her downfall. If she had been honest and transparent in her business dealings, she might have avoided the consequences. 2. Desperation can lead to poor decision-making. Adama's struggles with her business led her to make a rash decision. She was so desperate for success that she ignored her moral compass and did something that went against her values. 3. Integrity is more valuable than success. Adama's pursuit of success came at a great cost. She lost her reputation, her business, and her freedom. In the end, she realized that the price of success was too high. This story highlights the importance of prioritizing integrity and values over success. Here are 2 additional moral lessons that can be derived from this story. 4. The consequences of our actions can be severe. Adama's decision to urinate in her food had severe consequences, including damaging her reputation, losing her business, and facing legal action. This story highlights the importance of thinking carefully before acting, as our actions can have far-reaching and devastating consequences. 5. Seeking shortcuts to success can lead to failure. Adama sought a quick fix to her business problems by visiting the native doctor, but this shortcut ultimately led to her downfall. This story teaches us that true success requires hard work, dedication, and perseverance, and that seeking shortcuts can lead to failure and regret. Like, subscribe, comments, and share this video to see more interesting videos like this. You can also search my YouTube channel Prizzy Gold TV to see interesting videos like this that you have not watched yet. I have videos like she is responsible for her child's death, in which it talks about a woman who always pampered her son to the extent that he grew up and was not held accountable for his actions. He was always defended by his mom even though what he does is bad. Watch out on my channel to see what will happen next to him on my channel. I also have others interesting videos like the Wrong Path Royal Battle, and also don't forget to be missed out on my interesting and educative facts that will actually enlighten you viewer, educating you on things which seem to be hidden. Please endeavor to support this little channel. See you in my next video. Bye.